Hello, friends. Welcome to Be Weightless. This is Jenn Espinosa-Goswami coming to you live from my page at Be Weightless. And I wanted to hop on because I just came back from an amazing 3-day live event to help me elevate my speaking business to the next level. And I have some takeaways for you in particular that relate to whether you're winging it in your health and your weight loss. Lots of takeaways today, friends. So if you're joining live here, please say hi so I can see who's joining. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop in with your comments and I will answer them as I get to them. So you may have heard or seen some of the posts I did. I was at Heroic Public Speaking Live, which is a 3-day event with Michael and Amy Port. I spent 3 days over in Philadelphia. I'm from Minnesota. So shout out to Minnesota peeps. Shout out to Philadelphia peeps. I went over there to participate in this 3-day event to really master the technique of my speaking business. Speaking is a passion of mine. It has been for quite a few years. Probably started when I joined Toastmasters many, many years ago. And I was an officer there. I was very passionate about the mission. When I turned my business into a professional speaking business, I found a very much pleasure in presenting to audiences about my own personal story of weight loss. And that is how I decided to become a health coach, because I had audiences coming to me and sharing, how can I work with you? How can I implement this in my own life? And that was what inspired me to become a health coach, in addition to a speaker. So you may not have known that about me. But one of the things that really struck me during this event, and this event is taught by Michael and Amy Port, who are trained actors. Hi, thanks for joining us. Make sure to say hi. So Michael and Amy Port are trained actors. What does this mean? They take the art of performance and turn people who are speakers, such as myself, and people who've been decades in the business, and really help them elevate their speech into more than just a speech or a presentation. It is a performance. As you can expect, there are lots of different techniques you can utilize, but this is not your kind of standard PowerPoint types of things. It's more of, how do you use your voice on stage? What are some techniques to really use the stage? And I'm using stage in a metaphorical sense. It's not necessarily that you're on a platform stage, but stage just means the ground with which you have to move around when you speak. How do you use that space in a very effective way to illustrate your presentation so that you are the one that the audience is looking to instead of a PowerPoint or a slides or a presentation? So one of the workshops that I worked on at this event blew my mind, like crazy, crazy, crazy. And I realized in all the 5+ years that I've been speaking, most of it professionally, is I am winging it. It's just kind of scary to admit. You may resonate with me. Maybe you're winging it in some area of your particular life. Like, are you winging it when it comes to your health program? Are you winging it in terms of how you're showing up in business or career? Are you winging it because you have no idea how to deal with your child's, whatever the child's thing of the day is? Are you winging it because you have no idea how to throw a holiday party? I mean, there are lots of places in our life where we can show up and just be winging it. Just be like, I can do this. Yeah, I'll just jump in and I'll do something. I'm notorious for winging it in my personal life because when I started my weight loss journey about 18 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't have a very particular goal. I just knew I wanted to live a long and healthy life. And I winged it for like a year. And luckily enough, I was successful in losing 100 pounds in that first year. Yet, I can acknowledge today that I was totally winging it. I had no idea. I didn't really have much of a plan. I had some ideas, I had some guidelines, and I implemented and tested and worked those guidelines for a year, which is why I was able to reach my success. When I translated that into my speaking business, I realized I am totally winging it. I love being on stage. I love presenting. I love communicating with folks like you. It's a passion of mine, and it's not something that makes me nervous. I delivered my dad's eulogy last year. I was only nervous because I was nervous that I was going to cry. I wasn't nervous that I couldn't honor my father with words about his life. So presentations have always been a comfort level for me. And I knew this event was special for me because it was taking me to a place that I couldn't even imagine, even up here. I was sharing this event area with 600 other people in the speaking business. These are professionals. These are people who've been 30 plus years. These are people who have some acting or performance background, who know how to use their space, who know how to make a presentation phenomenal, who earn 30 plus thousand or 30K plus for each presentation they deliver. Yes, a 60-minute presentation for $30,000. There are people earning this kind of money to do this type of work. And they were sharing what they learned. Now, one of the things that really struck me, I mean, there were a lot of things that struck me about this whole event I went to. But what the message is for you is the best parts I took from this event were the processes. I'm a process-oriented person. I used to work in process improvement for financial services. So I see the process, right? I see step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and rinse and repeat. That's something that I'm very passionate about, something that I can automatically see, and I'm strategic enough that I can utilize that in everyday ways, sometimes just intuitively without being able to explain what's going on. But we were talking about a 7-step process to rehearsing your presentation. Let me tell you, folks, I never do 7 steps before I present anything. I delivered a presentation today. It was only 5 to 7 minutes. I think I did it in 5.5 minutes. But that one was completely, not completely off the cuff. I rehearsed it a couple of times. I wrote out my script. I knew what I was going to say. But it was like maybe the 3rd time I had said it aloud, and I did not do a 7-step rehearsal process. I can be honest and real with you and say I have never done a 7-step process for any presentation I have done, including anything paid that I have done. I do both free and paid presentations, but I have spoken to major brands like Wells Fargo, Target, Securian, a bunch of really big companies within the Twin Cities area, and I have never ever done a 7-step process. In essence, I have been winging my presentations. That's not to say that I'm not good at my presentations, because my audience have shared with me that they're phenomenal. I mean, yeah, they're great. But what I'm realizing is I could be that much better by refining my process. So what does my process currently look like? My process currently looks like I write it out. I rehearse it. So that could be I speak it into my voice recorder, or I just stand up and do it. And I refine my messaging. So that's like my 3-step process, right? What I learned at Heroic Public Speaking Live is that's just the beginning. We're just skimming the surface. And apparently I need to refine my script a lot more. So they suggested, I'm not going to go over every step. I'll just very briefly outline what it is. But the first step is to do a table read. So by the way, this is after you've already created your presentation. And I do presentations from 60 minutes to 90 minutes, usually highly interactive, sometimes have slides, sometimes don't. I can usually deliver them either way. But first you read it. You sit down and you just read it as you wrote it. This is interesting. I've never read my stuff without actually delivering it. So I missed a couple of key steps in that process, and we'll go over them. The second step is, to content map. Now, this was the most fascinating thing I took from this. I'm going to go into it just very briefly. Content mapping. So content mapping is where you put emphasis on certain words, the key words in your presentation, because when we speak, there are certain things we illustrate and emphasize, and there are less important words that we do not need to emphasize. So this is saying take your script and actually highlight, circle, what have you, identify those words that you're going to emphasize. And then insert your pauses. So when I'm speaking, I naturally just do certain pauses. I wasn't scripting myself. And in that way, I was doing myself a disservice. So how do we take this to the health arena? And I just briefly outlined 2 of the 7-step process. We're not going to go into all of them, but basically it gets even more and more intense until you get to the finale, right? It always does. And the finale of the 7-step process is to invite like as many friends as you can to see you present and give you very specific feedback. Like you'll tell them, by the way, I'm going to do this 45-minute presentation. I'm inviting you to this theater, always on a stage, which is going to be recorded, and I'd love for you to share with me at what point did you find yourself losing interest, at what point did you find yourself really tuning in. I mean, you have to tell them specifically what you want them to review for you, which is very important. But I want to turn this into health, because as a health coach, it's important to me that you know exactly what you need to do and when to do it. And in conversations I have with clients, most clients I talk to are like, well, I think I know what to do. Yeah, I know what to do. I'm just going to eat more vegetables. I'm going to eat less sugar. I'm going to start a paleo diet. I'm going to start a keto diet. I'm going to not snack after 8 o'clock. So usually what people tell me in these complimentary conversations, if you want one, comment below this video. I'm happy to connect with you. What I'm hearing from people on these conversations is they're basically just testing things out, right? They might have a 1 or a 2-step process. I'm going to eat better. And I'm going to do it by more vegetables, less sugar. That's their first step. And then the second step might be, I'm going to exercise. So I'm going to hit the gym and I'm going to get sweaty. You know, usually in a nutshell, that's what most clients come to me saying they're going to do. And that's when they know that I can do this. I got this. I'm comfortable knowing what I need to do, or at least getting started. There's a difference between knowing what to do and getting started. Just throwing that out there. And they're like, yeah, I don't need to work with a health coach. I'm winging it. They don't tell me they're winging it, but in a nutshell, they're winging it, right? I've been through the process. I have mastered the concepts of how to meal plan. I have mastered the concepts of how to get fit without a gym. Those are things I know how to do. I've mastered the ability to be confident in myself, into supporting myself until I can find the right people to support me and uplift me. Those are things I mastered 18 years ago. And that's why I became passionate about becoming a speaker and a health coach. But when I have conversations with folks, they're just like I was when it came to speaking. They're like, yeah, I know what to do. I'm comfortable. I have a little outline here and I'm just going to go with it. Yeah, I outlined everything I need to do and I'm just going to run with it. That's what I did in my speaking business. And I was doing myself a disservice. So my ultimate goal, just to spell it out, is to be on big stages, to be the performer, to be the person who people look up to as a role model for body bliss. That is my dream, right? That is my destination. Hi, thank you for joining us. What is your destination when it comes to health? Often when I have conversations with people, they're very basic. They're like, yeah, I need to lose weight. Okay, what does that look like to you? What are the feelings associated with that? What will change around your environment when you do reach this goal? So people don't dream big enough, right? They're like, I'm just going to lose some weight. Okay, well, even if they're like, I'm going to lose 25 pounds. What is the big dream that surrounds that? Like, what are you able to do that's different than before? Explore that for yourself. If you're watching this video, thank you for watching and sharing if you are. Explore what your dream, your ultimate, like the big kahuna, what is that for you when it comes to your health? And once you've had a chance to flesh that out, to daydream, to dream, to imagine, to use the beautiful mind of yours and really get to a place where you can feel it in your heart, what your big health goal is. Do you know how to do that process to map out how you're going to get there? Maybe, maybe not. And that's okay, because that's what I help people do. I can help you map out that process. And by the way, I only use 4 steps. 4 steps. I don't have a 7-step process. No, that's not how I operate. I keep things as simple as possible. I'd be glad to walk over the 4 steps with you. I do it in one of my weight loss breakthrough sessions. I'm going to pop the link down below this video so you can explore that for yourself and find a time that works for you. But basically, I will be able to map out a process for you. That's my promise. That's what I deliver. I can map out a process for you. If you're so inclined, we can then work on that process together, stick with what works and throw out what doesn't work. Because as you're working through something, You know, you can have a plan in place and be like, yes, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what to do to elevate my speeches to the next level. That doesn't mean I'm not going to get stuck. Or there won't be times when I'm like, I think this is what they told me to do. I'm not really sure, and I just don't know what to do. Whenever we get into overwhelm, we don't do anything. I'm guilty of it. Maybe some of you can relate to that. Like, are you a person who, when you get overwhelmed, doesn't do anything? Comment yes if you are. It's a human nature, folks. I can help you with that, though. That's the benefit of health coaching. I love connecting with people. I love supporting them where they are, and I love lifting them up when they get stuck. You will get stuck. I got stuck. I'm still stuck in certain ways, and I'm not afraid to seek the help that I need to get unstuck. How about you? In conclusion, and thank you for watching me through to the end, please share and like and give me hearts if this has been helpful to you. When it comes to your own health, you have two choices. You can wing it, which means that you have a basic plan, you have some guidelines, you kind of know what to do, but you don't really have that support you need when you get stuck. Or you can schedule a weight loss breakthrough session with me. We can talk through the 4-step process. My process is only 4 steps. Super simple. And we can map out a strategy for you, because there's always a strategy that'll work, and I will continue to support you if that's a conversation that feels comfortable to you. This is Jenn Espinosa-Goswami joining you live from Be Weightless. Thank you for joining me, and don't wing it. Find the support you need. Let's connect and figure out what that looks like for you. Have a great day.